Okay, tonight we talk about Revelation chapter 18. Now, chapter 18, John will see another angel come down from heaven again. And what he going to do? The Bible says that this angel come with new message from God for the world. Now you see that in the last few chapters, we talk about the war and disaster that happened in this world. That you see that Satan and his followers did not fight with man, but they're fighting with God and angel. So this is the war that they will never win because this is from God. Now people say that Satan rebelled to God long time ago. Well, that's the beginning of the war between Satan and angel of God. But the Bible always says that it's not time. God still give people a chance, and all the angel, it's not time for judgment yet. So this is why it's still a waiting time. But now it's almost at the judgment time now. So what did angel bring from heaven to this world? Well, some people say that exactly, well, it looked like Jesus himself more than an angel. But we will see some theologians say that it's a group of angels that came with Jesus. It means that because the angel do certain job and Jesus will do certain thing in the same time. Now it mentioned about Babylon again, and the angel keeps saying that the end of the Babylon. And we already say that Babylon is not the old Babylonian that in Iraq today, but it's a symbol of the city, the capital of the world, when Satan ruled the world. And it can be anywhere. Some people say that it's in Washington, D.C. Some say that it's in Rome. Some people say that somewhere in Asia. We don't know. But it's just the capital that Satan used. But a lot of theologians believe that it's in Jerusalem. So we have to wait and see. It might not be one place, because you see that Satan ruled the world by using two left hand and right hand man. One he called the Antichrist, another one he called the false prophet. So at least two presidents already. One is for religious leader, one is for the government leader or soldier leader. So there are two persons and control from two presidents in this world. And Satan himself is in another place. Now people say that if the Antichrist, the false prophet in Rome, the Antichrist might be somewhere in Washington or some other place in Europe. And Satan himself, where he going to be? People say that Jerusalem. So we will wait and see. And what the angel we're going to do? He just announced to the world that God will destroy all their capital and bring the end to what they so happy about. They think that this is the best they can do. They rule the world from all those places. But here it just repeat, because chapter 18 similar many things into chapter 17. And it just repeated again that that will happen. And chapter 19 also come back to talk about the judgment of Babylonian. So why people say that why John talked in chapter 17, 18, and 19? Well, one reason is he wants to emphasize. And the second reason is because Satan ruled the world from at least three places in the same time: Rome, Jerusalem, and maybe Washington, D.C. or somewhere else. So the thing that happened on different chapter mentioned about different city that Satan ruled the world and what disaster come to them one place at a time in different chapter. And what else John see? Well, John see the fall of apostate church, mean that the false church of Antichrist. The church that pretend to be the real church, but in fact the church worship Satan and make people worship or the idol of Satan against the real God. So this is what they try to do. Now, chapter 18 here emphasize again that why the whole world still believe in Satan. The Bible used the word they are drunk with the wine. Here doesn't mean that real wine. It just means that Satan gave them money, gave them fame, gave them all the joy that they can think of in this world, to make them think that Satan only can give them happiness. Well, this is all the Bible used the word drunk, mean that it's not real, but make them believe that Satan can give them everything they want, but in fact they are drunk. They don't know the truth. They are bribed by Satan's power, and they follow Satan to death. So this is the thing that happened to humankind in those days. And they talk about people all over the world think that they can make money, they are happy, they do good business, but it's all lie. It's not real. Satan lied to them, and Satan make them believe in the thing that not really happened. And now in verse 4 and 5, John heard the voice of angel tell people, come out of her. Mean that what they still, we talk about the real believer that in hiding all over the world. The people who come back to Jesus and don't worship Satan. And all these people in hiding everywhere, both Jew and Gentile. Because Satan will kill them, torture them, so they still believe in God, and God save them and protect them, but they're in hiding. But now the angel told them, time for you to come out now. You don't need to worry. The end time for Satan and his follower will come soon. So it's time that God going to come to save all these people now. The angel said that God will send all the disaster to all this big city all over the world. So the angel told the people of God, get out of those big cities. So where they go? Well, they might have to run away to the jungle, to the place in desert or somewhere out of big city, out of the capital of Satan. So we don't know what they will do and what will happen to them, but the Bible says that God will protect the people that still believe in him now. And the angel will guide them. And the angel warned all those people. You see, the Bible used the word queen, widow, to represent all the leader of Satan, all the people that Satan used to lead the people. In the symbol of queen, they worship her as queen or as a widow, a symbol of bad thing. And the Bible used that the people make adultery, commit adultery with them, mean that the people in this world worship them. the Bible used in this sense, spiritual adultery mean that instead of they faithful to God who created them, they worship idol, Satan, that God called them adultery. And fire from God will come down to consume them and destroy all of them. So a lot of theologians talk about disaster again, like earthquake and volcano and all kind of big storm that God will send to destroy all this city and all these people. And here the commentary try to compare what will happen next compared to 2 Corinthians chapter 6. And then in the last day that John see similar to what Paul have seen too, that the world get away from God and worship idol and fighting the real teaching of Jesus. But they're not going to last too long. Because what they have done, the Bible used that this is their sin up to heaven, mean that it's so much. And God say enough is enough. And now here in verse 6 to 8, it just repeats that from chapter 17 that God now will punish her. Mean that her in the sense of the leader who lead the people away from God and the city that she control, or the people who live there. And the Bible says that now it's a time that they need to pay their debt. So the Bible says that what they have done is just the debt that they have accumulated for so long. And now God come to call all the debt. They need to pay back now. They think that they can do anything they want. Well, where God allow it to happen that way, but time will come. The cup mean that what the amount that they accumulate, their wickedness, their sin, now they need to drink those cups, mean that it come back to them. And they have to pay back whatever they put in there throughout the history. Now, John will tell us about three big sins that all these people have committed with all those false teachers and the false antichrist. First sin is they glorify herself, mean that they worship themselves, they worship Satan, not God. She lived diligently. What that mean? Mean that she do everything to satisfy herself instead of to glorify God. A queen, a widow, narrow, mean that they make themselves God and they lure people away from real God to worship them. So they make themselves God and make people commit sin, commit spiritual adultery with them. So this is the big sin that God said that Satan and all his leader, follower will pay the price, because they're not just fighting against the people of God, they're fighting against God himself. And the time. Now in verse 9 and 10 talk about the king of the world, mean that besides the false prophet and the Antichrist, Satan also appoint a lot of humans to rule a lot of countries all over the world. They call them king. They are the disciple of Satan that Satan sent out to rule the whole world, all nation, all country. And all these kings serving Satan, they will bring all the people to fight for Satan and to worship Satan all these many years. But the judgment of God will come on all this leader too. because they are the instrument of Satan. They just get order from Satan to lie to people and to lead people away from God. So you see that Satan did not come to rule the world himself, but he used all his followers. He used all his people to rule the world and to make people believe. And Satan make himself like God. Now in verse 11 to 17, we talk about a lot of people who do business with Satan. They sell, they make money, and they serve Satan, and they feel that this is a good life because they can make money, they can have a lot of fame, and they think this is a good life. But in fact, as we talked about earlier, that this is all the lie. This is all the fake thing. Nothing real, nothing lasts. It's just the way Satan tried to lie to people throughout history, that Satan can give them joy, happiness, real health, but it's all lie. What Satan cannot give them real happiness or health and happiness. No, it's all lie. It's like all the drug that Satan gives to people. And the drug make them believe and think that everything is good, but in fact, it's not real. And this is the same way Satan will use all kind of drug and drug all the people all over the world. So all people is under the power of Satan, directly or indirectly, by the power of lie, drug, drunkenness, and all the illusion. And here talk about a lot of symbol that Satan used for himself. Purple is always the symbol of rich people. And in Roman time, the purple color is just for royal family. And people normally cannot use it unless you relate to the king or the Caesar. Thai-Lao wood. And this kind of wood is so expensive because it smells good. It's like when people use this wood to do anything, the wood keep good smell and good texture. It's so expensive. Only the richest people can have anything, furniture, house built by this kind of wood. Marble too. In the old days, marble is the most expensive stone that people use to decorate their home. So in the future, marble going to be famous again. Today, you might talk about all different kind of stone, but marble always symbol of rich, famous, and powerful people. All these things will be for the symbol of people who serve Satan, and Satan will give them all these things and make them think that this will bring them joy, happiness, riches forever. But this is a short time, not long. And a lot of good food, a lot of jewelry that Satan will give to all his followers at the promise of good life. But the Bible says that this is all fake. This is not going to bring them joy and happiness. It's just the symbol of hopelessness that Satan used to control them. And now when God destroyed all the big city that Satan controlled, all the merchants, all the people from all over the world will start crying, say that now what we're going to sell to, what other product, nobody going to buy from us anymore. because all cities were destroyed. And God come to teach the people that what is the real treasure. It's not what they have in this world, but what God can give them. Real joy and happiness, everlasting life. Whatever Satan promised them is all lie. And they are under the power of intoxication. Wine make them drunk, make them under control by all the drugs that Satan used to control people in the future. If you see that today, a lot of young people under the power of drugs in the future, a lot more, old and young, leader will be under the power of Satan drug, to believe in him and to think that Satan can give them everything. But the end time will come when the army of God or angel will come, and God will send all the difficulty, all the punishment to the world, to their capital, to their business, to all their treasure, to pay for the price that they torture servant of God, prophet, or the people who still believe in God. So this is the time of punishment, the beginning of the end of Satan's power. So the chapter will sum up what chapter 17 already start talking about, but more in detail in chapter 18. And chapter 19 will sum up more how God going to punish Satan and his followers in the future. Whatever they think they can use will be destroyed. Whatever they think that make them joy and happiness will bring them sorrow and punishment. And that's the sum up of this chapter. Okay, I go real quick. And you have any question, idea, the future will hold?
Not very hopeful.
Well, we just compare, you trust in God or you trust in Satan. Satan can promise you a lot of things. You might see, you might get it, but it's not real and it's not permanent. It's like you are drunk, you are under the power of drug, you are dreaming. But only God can give you the real thing, the everlasting treasure, joy and happiness. But why most people follow and believe in Satan, even today? Well, because they say that I get it now. God promised something in the future, but Satan can give me now. But the problem is what they get now is not real.
Ajahn, when we think about it, just like the Halloween, Ajahn.
Halloween.
Yeah, it's getting more and more popular. People adopting it.
Mm.
They don't have to, they think it's fun and game. Nothing to worry about, nothing serious. But they do.
Yeah, the whole world is under the illusion of happiness, success, but they don't know the price they pay. That's so.
Sometimes we don't understand how that happiness when symbol of death is the symbol of hope to them. Kind of interesting the way thing is.
Yeah, sometimes we don't understand why people think that way. We always think that if they have a straight thinking, they should not do that. But when you talk with drunk people or people under the power of drug, you think that makes sense?
No.
That the power that Satan could use to control people in this world. And not just a few people, the whole world. Many years ago, you wonder that how could Satan lie to millions and millions of people? How could hundreds of millions of people believe in them and obey them?
And John, like an Olympic, right? The Olympic that they make fun of the Lord's Supper,
Mm-hmm.
and they use a cow as a symbol. Of those things, it's a signal of the coming of the devil.
Yeah, that Satan himself.
They celebrate the devil.
Mm-hmm. You see the symbol, that is a symbol of Satan. You will see in the future, this world will worship Satan more openly.
They already done in France, in the Olympic. They started.
I think in America, I saw the church somewhere in YouTube
In San
saying
Francisco, in San Francisco, we have the first church of Satan.
Yes, that's what I saw too, somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
They say satanic church.
Yep, in San Francisco. But this just the beginning.
What kind of belief is that they're talking about in a long time ago? That kind of secret society. What is that? Secret society, like forgot the name.
You talk about the Catholic Church.
No.
You talking about masonry?
Yes.
Yes.
What are those, Ajahn?
It's in Europe and also in America. Some founder of American leader also part of that society.
Right.
It's a secret society. And some people believe that they are the society that try to get freedom. But a lot of what they have done there is against God and the Bible. They also worship some power beside God. But a lot of them try to say, oh, it's not religious, it's just politics. But the way they do it, it's all religious.
Right. So it have nothing to do with Christianity. It's not nothing to do with treasure of Jerusalem that being traveled from during the crusade come to Europe and come to America. All those treasure, all those wealth is have nothing to do with that.
Well, they might relate in some way, and that is all they relate. But a lot of their practice is not really biblical or correct. Because what they practice in their society is more from Egyptian, Romans, the Roman culture, and the Greek religions. It's far from Christianity.
John, can you share with us some more detail how what they do, how they do? Based on what I understand is most of rich people, famous people, they are part of that secret society.
Well, they have make a vow, they make an oath, they use blood, and they believe in superpower of something beside God. So a lot of things that they keep in their society is not from Christian foundation.
Some people believe that they are the people that behind the people that rule the world. Can they be part of that devil in hiding? Eventually they come out because they're so powerful. They influence the most powerful people.
Yes, Satan will use anything, anywhere to lure people away from God by promising power and riches, fame, and all these people looking for power, fame, and riches. And that's what Satan promised them. But they don't know that they have to sell their soul to Satan. I know some leader of America, when they start, they might not know much about what this society is. They just think that they met someone who have the same belief to get freedom for our country. That's all. So how you think about, some people say that they don't care how to get there as long as they get there. So do you care how to get there to your goal? Well, as a Christian, you need to care because the way to get there need to be honorable, biblical, and correct according to the Bible, the teaching of God. Yeah, Nathan?
Ajahn, if you can get there, if you don't care but you still can get there, how do you do?
I mean that, for example, people say that whatever make me rich, I will do it. But I say that you need to care how to get rich. The biblical way, the Christian way, the way that honor God or not, legal or not, ethical or not. Some people say, I don't care. But I think we have to care.
Ajahn, back to what we talked about last week about painting weeds, get rich. And you said that yeah, it is legal, but is it worth to do it as Christian leader? Is it worth to join them and to get rich doing that? So, and my wife and I were talking about, she said, yeah, I don't know, sometimes we feel like Christian cannot get rich, but I said, if you get rich legally, if you, for example, you are smart, then you can get rich the right way to do it, then you do it. But if just like have to get rich by doing how you call those unethical way, then just better be poor than be rich.
Yeah, you're right. For Christian throughout history, it's not just legal, but it has to be ethical according to what God standard to. Because a lot of legal thing is still not acceptable by God. Because legal is man's standard, man's law, not God's law.
Don't God tell us to submit to the law of the country?
As long as they're not against the law of God. When the law of the land against the law of God, God's law comes first.
Why is that, let's say, most of the Christian, we supposed to be the light and salt of the nation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And why don't most of the Christian vote?
I think a lot of Christians see that you choose between big evil and lesser evil.
Well, that is very true.
Yeah.
If that's what believe, that means they're not going to be voting for the rest of their life until Christ is coming. So in a way, they're wrong.
Well, I think in one sense, you see, it just their conscience too. Most Christians have a conscience that, well, it's my duty as a citizen to vote. But a lot of Christians have the conscience that I cannot select between big Satan or small Satan.
I think that's kind of wrong way of seeing to compare that kind of thing, because if Christian is a light of to be a salt and light of the nation, we regardless in this world, it's always whoever it is, doesn't matter who it is, it's always between less evil kind of thing, because they're all like that. That means we are not become the light, we not become the conscious of the country, of the nation.
Well, for them, either way is bad. So they accept it, but they don't want to get involved in it.
But you are involved, doesn't matter what. It's a side effect. If like it or not, we do involve.
Well, for them, their conscience don't allow them to take part.
Okay. I think anyway, but that's kind of weird.
Well, a lot of Christians in the past is that way.
Yeah, and I have some question regarding to kind of relate to what Chris just said, but mine is about moral and ethical. So when we use moral or ethical, I think that is always aligned with the Bible, or it is.
But if that we're gonna use that as a standard of moral and ethical, that means Christians should not be participate in anything. We send our children to school. That's a we have to consider about the same thing too.
You know that in the
part
past,
of the work they even send to the public school is very bad for the children also.
you're right. This is why in the past, a lot of Christians don't send their kids to public school too.
So it's just an easy way excuse to get out of the circumstances irresponsibly.
You cannot say that because they, and I always use the word, their conscience don't allow them to get involved.
Yeah, but nevertheless, allow or not, we are involved.
It's different though, when you have no choice, you have a choice, that's different thing. Yeah, I believe that we Christian have different belief in politics throughout history.
That's why the country keep going the wrong direction because we are not exercise our light. It's like if Jesus said himself, right? If we have a light, we're not gonna put under the table or cover them up. It's the same way.
Well, they believe that to live a real Christian life, you already shine your light. You don't need to force people to take your light. You already show your light. Yeah, I know it depends on different person, conscience, how they act, their belief.
In life, we always have to choose between a big Satan and little Satan
You know that
until Christ come back.
Christian in America for the last 200 years don't get involved in politics. They don't vote. They don't get to be politicians. It's just in the last 40 years that a lot of Christians get involved in politics. It's just something new in the past 40 years. 200 years ago, Christians don't get involved in politics at all. Most Christians in America.
I think Christian should participate in something that, because if we don't, and then if the devil sit on the White House and tell us to what to do and eliminate all those things like this day, then because we didn't act.
Yeah, you're right. So it depends on how much each one will get involved. And a lot depends on how they feel too. Some churches don't get involved at all. Some get involved in something. But some Christians today get involved a lot.
A lot of time I feel that the reason that the church doesn't get involved because they try not to compromise the tax-free purpose. They don't wanna pay tax and then they keep their mouth shut. In a way they're being bought by the government, bought them out.
Well, Nathan?
Ajahn, I have one question. See, we talk about big Satan and a little Satan. Can a good Christian be president?
That's a good question. You know that, as I say, that in America, most Christians don't get involved in politics for the last 200-something years, especially the Baptists. They don't run for position. They don't get involved. They don't vote. They let the Methodists and the Presbyterian run for office, but the Baptists won't get involved because they believe in the separation of religion and state, and they go extreme.
So that way, then the state should not make any law to control the church then.
Yeah, the principle is that way. State and religion are separate.
But more and more they do. Then I know that the founding father, they keep religious freedom, but now they try to change it into religious freedom from the religious.
Mm.
See how they flip that.
So in the long term, we have to wait and see which one going to be the right thing to do. $200 ago, religious or Christian don't get involved in politics. The last 50 years, Christians get involved a lot in politics.
You mean it increased?
Yeah, compared to 200 years ago.
Hmm.
The last 50 years, Christians get a lot involved in politics.
I'm concerned is that at some point in the future you may the church may have to pay for the tax and the we may not allowed to be to worship God. You know, that would be really concerning.
Well, if the church doesn't get involved, eventually it will happen because the power being fall into those people anti-church, anti-religious.
Well, a lot of Christians believe that time will come. It's not we going to fight back, but the will of God will be done.
But don't God work through us? We are God's instrument.
Yeah, but the will of God, not our will. The way of God, not our way.
I don't know. This is the problem that
Well, I know what Chris frustrate on, but the Christian who have that principle, they won't change.
So sounds like John, in the future, a lot of the other religions will take over America, and Christians will be suffering a lot.
Well, Satan religion will take over America for sure. And the real believer will suffer, yes. The Bible, they told us.
in Canada,
Mm.
some part of the Bible you cannot teach because it being labeled as a hater. Because the same thing, Christian is not participate in the voting block.
Mm. Well, I think that the price that Christian will not compromise our teaching with modern society.
Ajahn, if we don't compromise, I understand what you're saying. Yes, we don't compromise, but we live in this world. We are being forced to come to just like Canada, right? Some church cannot teach the word of God because they didn't vote for it, and now they're being forced to not to do it, not to be able to speak what God allowed to speak, because the government have imposed that rule onto them.
Yeah, Ethan.
But I have a question about Canada. Do we consider Canada as a Christian nation? I don't know anything about that. So just question.
I don't know what they believe to. I think
Well,
half of them Catholic, half of them Protestant.
even America is not a Christian country.
Mm.
It's a pagan country.
Christian is minority in America.
Yeah.
So what you expect? The book of Revelation already told us the future. Okay, I will give you a break. We come back for chapter 19, and I will reserve some time for Kamsai for his presentation. Any one of you still have presentation? Okay, if you don't have today, it's okay. We can do it next time. Okay, let's take a break. Okay, Revelation chapter 19. Now, chapter 19 will sum up after all the disaster that happened in this world. Now, John, go back to heaven. John will see that there is a big celebration, and all the people, all angels and people who in heaven will glorify God and say that hallelujah, all salvation, honor, come back to God. It's like the war in this world will end soon, and the victory is belong to God and his army of angels and all the saints. And it look like that all Satan followers are captured or destroyed in this world. And we talk about his Antichrist and his false prophet, and Satan himself were defeated by the army of angels. And we believe that Jesus himself come down and lead the army of all the saints too. And this is the victory celebration in heaven. And we don't know how many people there in that celebration. It's a big, big number. And you see that all the 24 elders that we already say that 12 represent the Jewish 12 tribes, and another 12 elders represent all human beings from all over the world. And all the living creatures, this is a kind of cherub, another kind of angel that in that worship, that singing all day all night for God. And when we take about a great multitude, we talk about billions of people, the one who saved by grace and waiting with Jesus. Now John cannot count the number of people. It's so many. Well, at one occasion, Paul talked about million, but now it's more than what he can number. In fact, I don't think John count all the number, but maybe angel told him in some way. And what happened next? The celebration will last a long time. John heard the celebration, the shouting of hallelujah. It means praise be to God. And a lot of people ask John, how can you understand what they sing, what they talk in heaven? Well, maybe God give him a special sense to understand the word they sing in heaven. When we all go to heaven, we understand heaven language, the language of angel. But now we learn a few of them, like hallelujah. This means praise God. And some Jewish people always say this is Hebrew, but in fact, no. The prophet heard it from heaven, heard it from angel. So it should be the language of angel or the language in heaven, not Hebrew. Hebrew just copy it, but now everywhere in the world copy this word too. And here just a picture that John want to see and want to hear it all the time. The victory of people of God. and the salvation come to everyone who waiting for Jesus. So it's a time of happy celebration. And for the people who have been waiting for this time, the one who died for God and the one who sacrificed their life for the gospel of salvation. And they know that this is the time that God come to revenge all the bad guy in this world and all the Satan and his follower in this world. This is the time of judgment for them. So John just compared the voice of the praising of God is like the sound of many water. Well, it's like thundering. So it's so loud, it's so much. But in the sense of unity, it's different from the sound of storm that we are afraid, but this is the sound of joy and happiness. So it's a different thing that John heard. And all the people there have a new cloth, white linen. It's just a symbol of new life and a symbol of joy and happiness and holiness because they are with God. So this is the picture that John sees, the celebration in heaven, the worship of God, and the symbol they call the marriage of the Lamb, mean that the Bible always say that Jesus is the bridegroom and all believer is just the bride and waiting for the wedding. It just means that the unity of believer and God and believer with Jesus complete at this time. We become part of God in God's kingdom, and the plan of God has been fulfilled at this time. That use the symbol of marriage become one. We become part of God again, not a sinner anymore. It's complete now. The wedding has been fulfilled. And this is the symbol of the bride and the wife get ready to be ready for the wedding, the spiritual wedding, that wedding for a long time. And this is the symbol of the party of the marriage, the banquet, and all the ceremony. So the chapter is the chapter of joy and happiness, the celebration and all the completion that God has been promises all believer is the fulfillment of all the prophet that have prophesied. And here now John sees the white horse. It always means that this is the horse that represents God or Jesus, the flame of fire, and he himself come. And here the Bible says this is the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, to welcome the King of Kings. And this is another interesting symbol. He said that on his head were many crowns. And people say how he can put so many crowns, one on top of another. Well, what John sees may be that way. Crown after crown, and each crown represents different meaning. Like the crown of light, the crown of righteousness, the crown of victory, or whatever. It's a symbol that John has seen that Jesus himself overcome all this world and become God of God, King of Kings, and because all these things represent what he has sacrificed and what he get back. And John also see that Jesus have a robe dipped in blood. Well, whose blood? Well, most theologians believe that his own blood, because he paid the price to save everyone, and that is the symbol that he saved everyone with a high price with his own blood. And now everyone saved, everyone get a new life, and Satan have no accusation about all these people anymore because Jesus paid the price for each one who believe in him. And here just a lot of glory and celebration. And here it's just the name Yahweh that written in the Hebrew words. And in fact, for several hundred years, we don't know how to pronounce this word because the Jew never pronounce it. All the rabbi of the Jew in their synagogue, when they come to this symbol, they just change it. Instead of pronounce Yahweh, they pronounce Adonai. It's not pronounced Adonai, but they know automatically. We never say the name of God. We call him God. So all the Jews throughout history, when they see this symbol, they never pronounce Yahweh. They pronounce Adonai. So Christians don't know how it's pronounced. So we misunderstood and we pronounce Jehovah for, I think, more maybe thousands of years. Until in the last 50, 60 years, we just realized that we pronounced it wrong for hundreds of years. It should pronounce Yahweh, not Jehovah. Now you see a big difference. And the Jews never correct us because they feel that this is a very wrong thing to do. You never pronounce the name of God. So they let the Christian pronounce it wrong. So it's not the name of God. It's something else. And the Jews know we make mistake, but they never tell us. It's a very mystery in Christian history. And it might be a big joke that we pronounce the name of God wrong for thousands of years. We can talk about this later on too. Well, we come back to understand and what is the good thing. Today, the Jehovah's Witnesses still have a wrong pronunciation of God. They call them Jehovah, and that's wrong. So it proves themselves that they are the wrong religion. They don't worship the real God, the correct God. Now, John see another picture, the angel standing in the sun. Now you see that nothing can stand in the sun because it will burn down. The sun is so hot, tens of thousands of degrees, but the angel just stand there with no problem. So this is just part of God's kingdom, and God created, and angel can do anything in the sun, and it not hurt the angel at all. And now what the angel told, and the angel just call out all the birds of the air, all the things that come out to eat the army of Satan. You see that at the last hope, Satan will call out all the army of the world, come to fight the last war with angel and the saint. Why? Because this is Satan's last hope, that maybe I can get away from the punishment. But here, he will lose. And the big loss, because this is the army of billions of soldiers will die here. And we guess that this is in Israel, in Palestine. The last war will fight over there. Well, we will see when it's going to happen. And when God called all the animals to eat the flesh, it means that they all will die. Billions of soldiers will die there. And that is the sad story, that a lot of humans will die because they obey Satan. They're tricked by Satan, and they will all die. We just hope that a lot of them will be saved, will come back to God, before it's too late, and hope that they will not obey Satan by his trick, his lie, his false promises, because the end is so sad. So the war will happen. We cannot get away from it. And it is going to be the big last war. And the loss is so big. But we have no choice. It's still going to happen one day in the future. We just hope that most people will come back to Jesus before that time. Because when they wait until that time, it's already going to be too late for most people. No chance. So this is for our responsibility in the church to do what we can now, while we still have freedom to do it. At those days, Satan controlled the world openly. They control the government. They control all religion, all the church, all mean, job, career, food, everything. So anyone can rebel against Satan will pay a high price. But now is still time. We can do a lot of things to save those people. So we have to do it the best we can. So this is the end of chapter 19. And it looks so sad when billions of people will die in that war. So how you think the future is not so happy? But the end of the end is going to be better. But before we come to that point, it have to go through many wars.
Vote, vote, vote. Participant.
Well, what can we do as a believer now?
We need to exercise our right the best we can.
I
And
say
lead.
we don't talk politics here.
อาจารย์ billion and billions people die. Some will be saved, some will not be. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. Let's change subject, Chris. No politics.
Well, it is politics. Have to do with the war. Have to do with army. Have to do with all these things. Somehow it does in war.
You see, we're not going to change anything.
Yeah. In a way, we don't. We just prolong it, maybe.
Yep. So we can do the better thing than that.
Preaching the gospel and sharing the gospel to our non-believers, อาจารย์
Share the salvation, the love now. That is the best thing we can do. Save as many people as we can, one by one at a time.
Try to be a loving person, loving people.
Yeah, I think that is the best way to do. You know that the whole world look at us. We cannot preach the good news without love.
Let's go both ways.
But people always said when you do good thing, they don't see it. But when you do bad thing, they say, yeah, that Christian didn't do good. It's not Christian way.
So I think each of us have responsibility to God and to our other human being. So I hope the burden will be on you, because our family, our country need us the most. I don't know how many Mien are Christian now, but the Lao is getting better. Several percentage of Lao citizens are believer now. The Thai still under 1%.
Is it in US or in US or in Laos, Ajahn?
Or even in Lao, a few percentage of Lao are Christian now. Some people say maybe up to 3 to 5%. But in Thailand, still less than 1%. But I don't know how many Mien are Christian now.
I don't know. I cannot answer the question, Ajahn.
You know how many Mien in the world?
I think about over 1 million.
Oh,
Yeah. Maybe almost maybe 1.6, maybe something like that.
so it means that Mien in China, Vietnam, Thailand, Laos.
Yeah, but the majority of Mien people are in China.
Maybe million of Mien in China.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah.
A lot of them are Christian in China.
I doubt it, Ajahn.
Oh,
Yeah. Because even they are Mien, but I think most of them may be not even speaking Mien at all.
oh,
Yeah, just like like Mien in Laos, in Thailand, in Vietnam. If you don't have your country, you go to other people country, just assimilate with the country's culture, everything.
Okay. Yeah, we just do our best what we can do. We're not going to change the history, but we can save a few people. That's still better than nothing. Okay, Kamsai, you ready for your presentation?
Sure.
Okay, go
Also
ahead.
about the Hmong population, we have while back we have total roughly 12 million and about 10 million in China, about 1.2 in Vietnam, and about 800,000 in the US and some other small country, but we don't know. So yeah, we don't know that they how many percent are Christian, but we do know that a lot in Vietnam are Christian right now. Yeah. So
How many Hmong in America?
according to the census, I don't remember what year, but they say about 800. Oh no, not that. I don't remember. I think they have that in the census somewhere. I think in America about 300, 360. Oh yeah, I saw it, 360,000.
Oh, that's a big
No.
number.
It says according to the 2021 American Community Survey by the U.S. Census Bureau, the population count for Hmong American was 368,609. I don't know, maybe I only count according to what in the books, what in the paper, so I don't know what in the internet. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I can share a little bit. Our group on Thursday night. So yesterday we've been talking about a little bit. We add on a little bit more, but may not be in this presentation. So we'll add some. And the reason I like to share this is because usually among the Hmong community, and I think also Nathan and I and Son and our group, we talk, a lot of time our people, we had the mentality that if we got help from God or from the angel, then we always think that, had to be dropped from the sky or somewhere, So that's why I put the topic for the angel. So we need to understand a little more about the angel. So Ajahn, do you want me to share this share screen or just talk?
Yeah, you can share screen too, so your friend can see.
Yeah, if I can share screen, then I can put in here. Oh, does everybody see it?
Yes.
Okay, so talk about Revelation 1 to the angel of the church of Ephesus. So we put, I just do really brief explanation here. The term angel can refer to literal angelic being or symbolize the pastor, leader of the church. Okay, hold on just a second. Let me make this a little bigger. Hold on. I don't see some part of it because our picture blocking it. Be patient with me, okay? Okay. So the term angel can refer to literal angelic being or symbol of the pastor or leader of the church. This dual interpretation highlight the spiritual and practical aspect of church leadership. So I do the representation, okay? Angel represent the church and serve as a bridge between divine communication and congregation, meaning that hold on, let me see. The message intended not just for the leader but for the entire body of believer. Yeah, this I mean that the angel in this case is have to communicate between human to God, like the pastor, because I'm talking about divine right here. So and then I go on a little bit. I wrote here later emphasis that the message of is meant for the whole church community. This underscores the idea that each member has a role in responding to Christ's work. I mean, a word. By addressing the angel or leader, the text acknowledges the importance of spiritual leadership in guiding the church. Leaders are accountable for the spiritual health of their congregation. And then now I come to contextual background about the church in Ephesus. So I just write a little bit in here, talk about a really challenging thing because in that town, there's a lot of pagan belief and, it's a lot of things in there. So that's why, the church in Ephesus, they're very, very resistant to those, during that time, to the devil. But the main idea that I use this to teach in some group, because I understand that sometimes when we teach, we need to understand our audience, what kind of people. And I usually don't want to teach a big chunk. I like to teach a small chunk. So among the Hmong community, I understand that our mentality when we talk about angel, because the book talk a lot about angel, about help from God, and we always think that get help from God is mean that something that fall from the sky, or from help by the angel. We thought that something that has a wing that fly from the sky and help us. That's what we always think. But in this context, I understand that God may use, because God is real, so he used the real thing, real people to help us, to rescue us. And we may not understand, we may not think that that's help from God. And I want to give one other example that I hear from the internet. One old lady, she listened to one radio channel, and she requires them to pray for her for help from God. But at the same time, another unbeliever also listened to it, and he thought that he's going to make fun for the old lady. So he bought a lot of food and then have his secretary bring all the food to the old lady. So they brought all the food to that young lady, brought all the food to the old lady. So she was so happy, and she put all the food in the house. And the young lady asked, "Don't you know who sent this food to you?" And the old lady said, "No, it doesn't matter. I don't really care, because as long as God command, even the angel will obey." So meaning that a lot of times we get help from other people, also from God. We need to thank God, because we don't just wait, say, hey, because that has to fall from the sky, from heaven. But God may use people around us to help us, to do things for us too. That doesn't mean that God cannot do it, but God may use people around us to be a blessing to us. So anybody have question? Because I may not be really clear, but if you guys ask me question, I probably will clear that. Like a lot of time we think that we have to wait until God tell us what to do, or a lot of time we thought that God's in control and God control our mind of what to do. But to me, I think that God only give us the information, but the action will have to be us. We have to hold accountable and responsible for the information that God has given to us. And yeah, a lot of story, like one other story, I think I heard a lot of people said, but like one guy, his town was flooded, and he climbed to his roof, and he wait for the angel come rescue him. But actually many boats came and had to rescue him, and he thought that he want to wait for God. But the fact that God sent a boat to help him, he don't know. So a lot of time, our mentality in the Asian culture, we worship our ancestor, and we don't see anything, but we kind of think that it's like magic. We think that if help from God, just like magic. But the fact that God is real, so he uses real people to rescue us, to help us. Yeah, I don't know if anyone follow, and you guys have any. When people don't have question, it meaning that I may not be really clear.
I think
So
I think you are right on the spot, which is yes. A lot of time when we think of an angel, we think of somebody, some magical power come from the heaven. But you're right that God used ordinary people to do the good thing all the time, but we didn't see it in a point of view as an angel. But you're right.
yeah, yeah, I think you got the point that you
Yeah.
explained more clear than me. But yeah, that's my point.
Yeah, because a lot of time we didn't think that somebody helped somebody is an act of God, but we didn't refer it as an angel. But it can be.
Well, another perspective from the Old Testament is angel come in all kind of form, all kind of thing. So
Right.
it means that even that people who help is angel in that form.
Yes.
It's still help from God. Angel sent by God in a different format.
That's true.
Yeah.
But it's just that we didn't think of it as an angel. We just think of a kindness of good God goodness. Use somebody to help us. Like let's say, like when I was in a during the divorce, right? During the first time, I was in such a bad place. But God did provide the guidance. God did send people to helping me, to guide me, to kind of. I know it's not an angel with the wing coming down, but all the sudden people that I need, a character of kind of people that I need help with, just show up and guiding me and teaching me and coaching me and so on and so on. And just like, let's say, like when I was going to pray about it, for some time, people said, if you go into divorce, you have to have a good attorney, right? And then how do I supposed to get good attorney? And pray about it. And then one day, decide make appointment. When the appointment came, I supposed to go to this attorney with a very big firm. And then along the way, I go there an hour before, and then I happen to see the door on the left, and it said that wealth management have nothing to do with attorney. So I go in there and talk to the guy sitting there in the reception. I talk to him, and he keep writing down what I'm saying. And then he said, we talked, and then I said, and then he said, Chris, I don't know why I'm here today. My office was in the downtown, and I'm vice president of this company. Give me 3 days, he said. Give me 3 days. I will call my friend who's been attorney for 30 years. And then 2 days later, he emailed it to me. He gave me 3 names. The attorney give me 3 names, and they said, whoever you call, use my name. And then when I called the attorney, I didn't even say much. They already know what the problem is, what my circumstances is. I go, wow. This is the experience that I've been through. Yes, God doesn't send the angel with the wing, but yes, he used in many different ways. I used to say like this: God put a guardrail around me so I don't fall off the cliff. That's my testimony about the angel.
Amen.
And you're right.
Yeah, I agree with Kamsai that we have a fixed idea of angel, but we didn't realize that angel come in all shape or form or style. It's still from God. God sent them to help us. I don't know, ever someone tell you that you are my angel.
Yeah.
They see
I heard that
angel in
term
you.
too. Yeah.
Yep, they see angel of God in you. And that's correct. God sent you there.
Because see, if we pray about it and ask God for help, sometimes we kind of frustrated that we don't see the help. But when we really need it, He will send somebody to guide us somehow, some way. We don't know, but He does.
You
It's
know
hard
that
to explain.
the real meaning of angel is messenger of God.
Messenger of God.
Yep. Anyone that God sent to you, bring his message. That is angel.
Yeah, I think that term, I like that term for
Yes.
our contemporary world, I think that's
Yeah.
more understandable.
Yeah, but I agree with you, Kamsai, that our old thinking is someone have to come down from heaven.
Yeah. Like Good Samaritan is a type of form of angel that God sent. Can we say things like that, Ajahn?
Yes, in the Old Testament, in the New Testament, God ordered a lot of people to go there to do something that are angel. Because the real Hebrew meaning of angel is messenger of God.
Messenger of God.
I think also in the book of Judges, those judges, suddenly God just appoint those people to be the judge and be the rescue of the Israelite.
Yes. And you know that when you bring the good news of God to people, you are the angel.
Yeah. And I was very thank God because since that moment came, everything was fall in place. And when I go to see attorney and he said, "You know who I am? How do you get my name?" He said. And I show him the text, the email that the other attorney sent me to him. So God is good.
Yep, God never fail.
Nathan, I think you have question.
No, I'm good. I'm just thinking about God's messenger, the angel. I'm just kind of pondering about it.
Yeah, I think the fact that we talk more in our group, but when I talk here, we don't cover much. But yeah, I think that should be clear. Because we mainly want to focus on the word angel. We'd like to more clarify, more understand on that.
Well, I think good. You see the point to apply to modern day people need. So that is the whole purpose of learning.
Okay, thank you, Ajahn.
Good
Welcome.
job.
Good job. Yep. So
Thank
we
you.
still have a few weeks for all of you to present some project in both classes.
Another question, Ajahn. The fact that right now I in Fresno, the next week I will be doing some. Right now I'm helping to plan and to do for funeral from one other uncle. In our tribe. Only him me and one other brother in North Carolina we were only 3 of us come to know God. And before he found out that he's going to pass away, so he already messaged one other brother saying that, only 3 of us. So we have a lot of other cousins, but they're non-believer. And if I somehow die, I want you and Kamsai come to help, to plan for the funeral. So now I come here to plan, and I gonna help to I would say to preach or to give the message on the first part. So I don't know if something like that can be good for one other project, since I have so much this term. I have so much. I don't have a lot of time to write the paper. Actually, our team, we have very little time this term. So can we use something like that for our project for the pastoral ministry, or?
Oh, yes, you can use it. And pastoral ministry, you can use a lot of things at your project. You see, we learn about funeral, we learn how to practice baptism, so that will fit in the requirement.
Okay.
Okay, what's the requirement again? What have to happen?
You like a sermon for the funeral or the Lord's Supper or baptism, or like a lesson plan to teach about the topic.
Oh, never done it before. Need to try.
Yep, you can try.
Okay. Subject have to do with funeral.
Funeral, baptism, or many other things you can do.
Okay, we'll think of something.
Okay. Okay, you have any other question before we're done for tonight?
Question that is talking about the marriage in heaven. Is that only he talking about the joy and so on, but not actually married? Is that right?
Yeah, you see, we talk about spiritual marriage, mean that we come back to be part of God forever, not separate from God anymore.
Part of God forever mean what?
Mean that we're not going under sin or away from God's will. No Satan anymore, no temptation anymore. Oh, that grandson, Kamsai?
No, that is one of the nephew. Yeah, I came to Fresno, and I stay with one of the uncle's house.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's the uncle's grandson. So yeah, it's
A little cousin.
yeah, little cousin, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, little cousin.
Okay, let me pray with you and let you go now. Dear God, we thank you for tonight, what we have learned, and we lift up our students before you. Be with them, bless them, and protect them, guide them for the week that they're serving you, and share your love with everyone. Be with us until we come back again. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, God bless. I will see you next week.
Yeah. Good night, everybody.
Hey.